Hi, I'm Donna Dewberry, the original creator of the FolkArt one-stroke painting technique. Welcome to the Let's Paint Studio right here at Plaid. Learning to paint has never been as easy as when I teach you how to load a brush with multiple colors where you can blend, shade, and highlight with one stroke of the brush. Our new program with Let's Paint FolkArt One Stroke this year is going to be all about learning how to paint 50 different types of flowers. And as you can imagine, 50 flowers makes the possibility endless to be able to paint floral designs. I'm thrilled that you've chosen to join me on this one-stroke journey. So let's paint. I'm excited to be painting a thistle with you today. We're going to be using a reusable teaching guide so you can practice on it and learn the strokes. We're using FolkArt multi-surface paint, and the colors that we're going to be using today are wicker white and violet pansy. And then for the greenery, we're using citrus green and sap green. And I put them on my double loader to help you learn how to load easier. And then our one-stroke brush that we're using today is a 5/8 angle brush. So that's what we're going to be painting here, is a nice stem with a fluffy and a bud, okay? Now, what we're going to do first is learn the fluff that we're going to put in here, and we're using violet pansy and wicker white to do that. So the first thing we're going to do is we've dampened the brush, we've laid it on the paper towel. We're then going to decide what color we want on the toe of the brush. So on an angle brush, you have a toe and a heel. And so I think I'm going to start with the heels going up first. You can see your arrows. It's like my strokes right at home with you. It shows you the arrows of which way you're going to go and the color that you want to try to blend. And not that you want to try to blend, that you are going to blend. And so I'm going to follow with the toe, which would be violet pansy. So I'm going to put violet pansy here, and I'm going to pick it up and work it in. And we're going to go very quickly on here and with pressure. So that gets it into the brush, okay? Now I'm going to come back here and pick up more paint now, and we just want the color to be nice on the surface of the brush, okay? Now we're going to stroke here and see if we've got the color we want. That looks pretty good. And then I'm going to come right in here, and I'm going to do, with my fingers, my little fingers helping me guide this, and I'm going to pull just like this. Now, people tend to lay on the chisel, which would make it like this, and they'd be big. So the key that makes this so wonderful for you is that we've cut off that edge off of a flat brush. You're just taking the tip of that toe and you're making the strokes, okay? So that's what we're going to do first. You can then come in and wet the brush with a little bit of white and put the wicker white on there to give it more depth, all right? So I'm going to wipe this off with a wet wipe or a dampened paper towel. And then we have a bud that we're going to push and lift. And buds are usually 2 to 3 strokes. So you can come in like this and put those in. 1, 2, or more. So see on this bud, after I did the 2 strokes, I then came in here and just pulled that toe to make it fluff out because it's getting ready to pop open, right? So we're going to wipe this off, and the first thing that happens before you can paint your flowers in there is that you need this cup here that's going to hold it, all right? So let's practice that a minute because the flower itself is really easy to do. Now what I want is I'm going to come around like this. So I want the sap to be on the toe and the citrus to be on the heel. And so I'm going to go back and forth, load this brush really good. I tend to get it on the ferrule, so I'm going to try to wipe that off. All right, so let's practice this. We're going to start here, and we're going to come down and back up. And then we put all of our thistle fluff inside of that. So I can get a little bit more on my toe as I'm coming around here. And then what I'm going to do is
I'm going to show you that we can come in here and do some of these little strokes. And the stem is going to be right. All of these stems are with this chisel. I practiced here to make sure, I stroked here to make sure the colors are what I want them to be. All right, and as I pick up more paint, I'm going to make sure that the heel goes first on here. And then the toe makes the length of this leaf look really good and with a point. And so right in here, I can make sure I have plenty of sap green, and then I can take this brush and pull down. This part of the brush is the heel, and we are going to pull it back. So we can go up and back down. All right, so I can also switch this around and have those toes come out there a little bit easier for you. All right, out and back. So just then at this point, we just keep picking up a little bit of citrus. All right. So I'm going to wipe this off. Now you need to practice longer than we practiced so that you feel comfortable with those and see their own little stalks. It makes it kind of pretty. All right. So let's go. The last thing we do, I'm going to show you that right on the flower. Those little tips right here that go on top of the fluff. All right, so the first thing I want to do here is pull down the stem, the main stem that we're going to be on. So we're going to come right here and pull it down. We have a little bud over here that we do lighter. And I also came here with a couple of other little leaf stems. All right, and there's one going to be here. All right, so now I told you what's important on here is that I have this here so that you can see what it's supposed to look like and remind yourself. And then so I'm going to come right up here and make the cup with citrus at the top and sap down here. And on this one, we're just going to have little leaf calyx down here. All right. So we'll come back to the green in a minute and put more of these little details and leaves on our piece, okay? Now, I'm going to turn this so I can do these fluffs a little bit easier. I think it'll be easier for you too. And I am going to pick up white on the heel, remember? And the toe is going to be the violet pansy. All right, I've got that too white. Can you see that? So I need to pick up more of the toe. There we go. And if it gets too muddy, you can come to another cubby here. There we go. All right, so what we're going to do is we come out of here. All right, and then we start pulling. I need violet pansy straight on a bunch of this. And you hold the brush up so only the toes touching. See how it gets heavier purple color? Only the little tips, the points. All right, so then this gets, I'm going to go ahead and do the bud too, but see it's getting a little muddy. And so what I'm going to do is when I go get white, I'm going to come back and stroke over this a little bit more. So remember, this is 2 strokes right here on the guide. And then we're going to do what I said we need to do. We're going to go get some wicker white on the toe. And on this one, we're going to touch and pull down with the toe. All right. Look right here on your guide. There we go. All right, so at this point, when it gets muddy, I'd like to come in with a little bit of wicker white and put a few strokes there. So you know how this goes. You put a few white, and then you need to go back and put a few of the violet pansy ones back. So I kind of rotate it. Get the violet pansy, add a few more in there. There you go. All right. Okay, so now I am going to pick up both colors again, and I want the citrus to be on the toe. And that's what you do at the bottom of this cup. All right, so I'm going to start here, and we're putting the citrus up into the flower. All right, now I can wipe off if it gets too much of the violet pansy, and then I'm going to make layers coming back. Now every once in a while you could put a little bit of white in there if you want to, wicker white. All right, and we just come down, make layers of it coming down. All right, so let's do these great leaves. Practice the different leaves so you feel comfortable with them. And what I did on this little stem here is I'm going to come up and back down. All right, and partway here on these new little stems, which that one is, you're going to come right here and have a few little leaves. Right in the middle there, okay? And then let's do the larger leaves that we were practicing. So what happens is we have one on the point, and then we come down with them, kind of like fern. All right, so turn this where you're comfortable and make it happen.
I had so much fun today sharing how easy it is to paint these flowers. They turned out gorgeous. Remember, practicing on the reusable teaching guides right over my strokes gives you so much painting confidence. Thank you for joining me here in the studio. And remember, we just learned one more of the flowers from the A to Z one-stroke floral painting sets. And I would love for you to take pictures and share them on our Let's Paint with Plaid Facebook group by hashtagging Let's Paint Challenge. Come on, everybody, let's paint.